Everyone's chasing the same big name backs, but championships, they're won with the sleepers. The guys buried in the rankings who explode out of nowhere and carry your team when it matters most. Today, I'm diving into sleeper running backs with legit league-winning upside. Late round gems, overlooked backups, and breakout candidates you need to stash before your league catches on. If you're ready to crush your draft and steal value while everyone else plays it safe, this is the video for you. And let's start with rookie Bhayshul Tutun, currently going pick 117 on your underdog drafts. I compare this guy to De'Von Achane. They both ran a 4.32 40 at their combine, but the difference is Bhayshul Tutun is 206 pounds, whereas De'Von Achane was 188 pounds when he ran that. This is a guy with decent enough size. I mean, he's about the same size as like a Chase Brown, a little bigger than a Jahmyr Gibbs, but with legit elite speed. Not to mention that he is an absolute weapon in the screen game, similar to De'Von Achane. What did we see last year with Achane? He was okay as a runner, but he was a monster in the screen game. That can be Bhayshul Tutun in this Jacksonville offense. And with new head coach Liam Cohen coming in, you got to feel great. When you look at the Buccaneers backfield last year, he played to each running back's strengths. He gave Bucky Irving the majority of the man gap running scheme because that's what Bucky Irving excels at. Whereas he gave Rachaad White the most of the outside zone rushing scheme because that's what he excels at. I think we're going to see a similar thing with Tank Bigsby and Bhayshul Tutun. Give Tank Bigsby the man gap scheme. Give Tutun that outside zone scheme where he can turn the corner, get to the second level, and absolutely hit home runs, and also be that pass catching back. Because what have we heard about Travis Etienne? Well, basically, that they don't want this guy. They've been trying to trade Travis Etienne. Now they haven't been able to, and they may not be able to, but it wouldn't surprise me if Tutun slots into that Etienne role. That change of pace guy who comes in, again, to hit those home run plays, catch those screen passes, and that is going to give you tremendous upside in your fantasy football leagues. And if something should happen to Tank Bigsby and they decide, hey, let's make this guy the workhorse, or if they do trade Travis Etienne and there's nobody there to compete with him, this guy could legit be like what we saw with Chase Brown last year in that Cincinnati offense. Now, of course, the Jacksonville offense not going to be as good as the Cincinnati offense, but this is a guy who doesn't need 20-plus touches. You give this guy 10 to 15 touches, any one of those could turn into a home run, just like we've seen with Achane the last couple of years. So Bhayshul Tutun, I think, is a fantastic value in your fantasy drafts. Gives you tremendous weekly upside. Even with the running backs there, he at least gives you flex value. And again, if he overtakes Etienne or just overtakes his whole backfield, he legit could be a league winner down the stretch. And then another rookie, Jaydon Blue, currently going pick 131. Speaking of Bucky Irving, could he be this year's Bucky Irving? He's about 196 pounds, so about the same size as Bucky Irving. Now he's got a little more juice than Bucky. Bucky ran like a 4.57. He ran a 4.43. And when you watch him on tape, yes, if he gets to the second level, he does have home run speed. But again, kind of like going into last year for Bucky Irving. He's going into a running back room where it's not hard to envision him taking over at some point. He's competing with Javonte Williams, who ranked outside the top 35 running backs in yards per touch, juke rate, evaded tackles, and explosive rating. He's also competing with Miles Sanders, who also ranked outside the top 35 running backs in all of those categories. And by the way, this was despite both running backs playing behind pretty good offensive lines. Denver ranked 14th in run blocking last year, and Carolina ranked 12th. So it wasn't like they were a product of bad offensive lines. They're just a product of being bad running backs. Now, Jaydon Blue is not an elite talent or anything, elite prospect, but he's good enough, and he's also a very capable pass catcher. And while this Cowboys offensive line is not the dominant offensive line of years past, they've made strides to upgrade it. It should be better this year. The run blocking should be better. And the Cowboys, again, desperately need a running game. They do not have a running game, and I don't think Javonte Williams or Miles Sanders are going to bring them a running game. So sure, Blue may start out slow, like a lot of rookie running backs do, but kind of like Bucky Irving last year, it wouldn't surprise me if he slowly but surely takes over the backfield, and he's the Cowboys running back you want down the stretch, helping teams win fantasy championships. And if you're thinking to yourself, man, I want to take advantage of these ADPs, I want to start doing some fantasy drafts, you got to head to Underdog Fantasy right now because they have all sorts of fantasy drafts going on all offseason long, including their flagship Best Ball Mania 6, which is going to make multiple millionaires. Not to mention, they just dropped their playoff basketball promo. With the extender, you can play your way to increasingly bigger boosts each round of the playoffs. Start a playoff series by using your Game 1 boost and continue boosting each subsequent game to unlock the next one. The longer the series, the bigger the boost. You're going to want to see how serious it gets when that Game 7 hits. Hop on Underdog, the best place to make picks during playoff basketball, and get started right now. And when you do, make sure you join using promo code ENDGAME, because not only is that going to get you a free pick, but also up to $1,000 of bonus cash. All right, let's give the vets some love, starting with Tyjae Spears going at pick 135. Now, I've raved about Tony Pollard being an absolute value in fantasy drafts this year, and I still feel like Tony Pollard is a value in fantasy drafts. But that doesn't mean we should completely ignore Tyjae Spears. We saw down the stretch last year, from weeks 15 to 17, when Tony Pollard was playing very injured and missed a game in that stretch, and Tyjae Spears was technically the lead back. This guy finished as the running back 3, the running back 10, and the running back 12 in those 3 weeks, and he averaged over 20 points per game. I still believe that Tony Pollard will be the lead back here, and I still believe that Tony Pollard will get the bulk of the touches. But Tony Pollard is not the biggest running back, and if he does get banged up, Tyjae Spears is at minimum an elite handcuff, one of the best handcuffs in all of fantasy. But what I also love about Tyjae Spears is he still gives you some standalone value. He's not going to be standing on the sidelines doing nothing all game. He's still going to get his 8 to 10 carries, catch 3-ish passes a week. So he still has that appeal to be a flex when the bye weeks kick in, when the injuries start hitting. This is the exact kind of late round running back I want to draft. A guy who isn't just sitting on my bench, giving me nothing week after week, praying for an injury. No, he can help you out again during those bye weeks, even if Tony Pollard is healthy. But if something happens to Tony Pollard, he legit could be a league winner. And I feel the same about year 2 running back Trey Benson, currently going pick 140. Now, I know James Conner is the lead back there. And look, James Conner, to his credit, has been good. Despite being 30 years old, he's still chugging along, being good. But you know what James Conner did last year that he almost never does? Played more than 13 games. For only the second time in his entire career, he played more than 13 games last year. Now entering his age 30 season, there is serious injury risk with James Conner here. And again, Trey Benson, I think another guy like Tyjae Spears, he's still going to give you some standalone value even with James Conner healthy. Because what do the Cardinals do at running back this year? Nothing. The only guys behind James Conner and Trey Benson right now are Amari Demercado and Michael Carter. No threat here. Trey Benson entering year 2, gonna get better. Time to learn the offense. And this is a team that last year ranked 11th in terms of running plays per game. They're not a pass-heavy offense. There's opportunity here for both these guys. And again, Benson, one of the elite handcuffs, because if something happens to James Conner, he could legit be a 3-down back. He can catch passes. He can pass protect. So I think Trey Benson being completely slept on after a not so good rookie year, but don't let him fall in your drafts. Stash this guy on your bench. And you're also going to want to stash Ray Davis, another forgotten year 2 running back, going pick 145 on Underdog. We saw last year in the 2 games he got to start with James Cook out or resting in week 18, he finished as a running back 14 in both of those weeks, scoring 14 and 18 fantasy points. Now, I will say one thing about Ray Davis. He doesn't bring the pass catching of like a Tyjae Spears, a Trey Benson, but he brings that guy who can get you 15 to 20 plus carries, get the goal line carries, and he's in one of the best offenses in the entire NFL, which you always got to love for a running back. Now, of course, there's a little worry here about Josh Allen vulturing touchdowns, Josh Allen running the football, but that hasn't seemed to hurt James Cook any. And we again saw Ray Davis, when given the opportunity, he made the most of it. And even with James Cook entering a contract year and wanting to get an extension, the Bills did nothing at running back. They're just going to go in with the same running back room. Now, I'm not going to say James Cook is going to hold out, because he's not going to hold out. But should James Cook miss time this year, Ray Davis can slot in as an elite RB1 that you have to start every single week. And again, he also gives you some flex value because he's in this offense where, as we saw last year, he could still get 10 carries a week, catch a pass or 2, and could always vulture a touchdown. So again, I want to take a chance on Ray Davis, one of the best offenses as an elite handcuff with some standalone value. And you definitely want to take a chance and watch all of the videos we got this offseason to help you dominate your fantasy drafts. You can find them all in our 2025 playlist right here.